To the casual observer, this is simply an aquarium. A place for fish, a place for plants, a hobby. But consider what a hobby actually is. A stamp collector has stamps, a bird watcher has birds. I have a self-regulating ecological system in a glass rectangle, and I feed it every morning. That fish you see there, that elegant, admired, carefully selected fish, is at a biological level a latecomer. Life in the water has been happening for 3.5 billion years. The fish arrived relatively recently, geologically speaking. It is the newest thing in this tank. The oldest things in this tank are invisible to our eyes. Bacteria, archaea, microbes so ancient that their ancestors were already ancient when the first multicellular organism even appeared. They coat every surface in here, every plant stem, every grain of sand, every corner of the glass. They're not contamination. They are the foundation. This tank runs on them. But to the trillions of organisms that call it home, this is an entire world. Everything you see here is doing something. Right now, there is no idle moment in a healthy aquarium. Every organism is feeding, or fleeing, or reproducing, or decomposing something that was recently doing one of those things. Nature, it turns out, does not take breaks. My name is Ryan, and I'm a biology teacher, which means I have a problem. I cannot look at a fish tank and just see fish. The moment that piece of food hit the water, I was already calculating who will intercept this food first, at what trophic level, what percentage of it will end up reaching the substrate, and what will happen once it reaches that point. Also, my wife does not appreciate it when I do this at the dinner table. I became a biology teacher because I cannot stop finding these things interesting. This is, I realize, both a gift and a personality flaw. It means I have never in my life looked at a fish tank and just enjoyed it. I've only ever interrogated it. I see the algae that grows on the glass, the snails that graze it, the bacteria that break down what the snails leave behind. I see food webs, I see nutrient cycles, I see ecology happening right here in this glass box. Here's the thing about aquariums that nobody tells you. A tank teeming with tiny invertebrates, microscopic organisms, algae, and detritus is not a dirty tank. It is a successful one. What most hobbyists call a problem, the worms, the pods, the biofilm, is the tank doing exactly what an ecosystem is supposed to do. Every aquarium is, in ecological terms, an experiment in succession. Left to its own devices, a tank will build complexity over time. Species will appear that you never intended. Niches will be filled by organisms you did not invite. This is not a malfunction. This is ecology, proceeding as scheduled, entirely without your permission. I have been keeping aquariums for years. I've also been teaching AP Environmental Science for quite a few as well. At some point, these two facts fused together in my brain and became this channel. I apologize in advance for any Latin terms I may end up using. Most aquarium channels will show you the fish. This channel will show you everything else. Here's what we're going to do on our journey together. We're going to look closely, closer than most people look at anything. We're going to use a microscope, and the best of my macro abilities on this phone for now, and occasionally the scientific method. We're going to find out what is actually living in these tanks. All of it. The beautiful, the bizarre, and what some of you may find as somewhat unsettling. We will run experiments. We will collect data. We will draw conclusions. And then we will revise them when the data disagrees with us. Which it will, because that's what data does. This is not a fish channel. This is an ecology channel that happens to have some fish in it. Since this is an aquarium channel in some way, let us begin with the obvious. The fish. They're beautiful, certainly, but frankly the least interesting resident in this tank, for me at least. The shrimp are far more interesting, constantly working. They are the sanitation department, and they never, ever take a day off. And much like the shrimp, the snails are the heavy machinery of this sanitation department, rasping away at the algae with a tongue that has teeth. This tongue is called a radula, and it is more wonderful and terrifying than any shark's mouth full of teeth. Some of these snails live underground, aerating the substrate the way that earthworms work the soil. Essentially, your fish tank has its own geology department as well. Now let's go smaller. The worms. Some people find these alarming. Those people are sorely wrong. Detritus worms live in the substrate, breaking down organic waste. Without them, your tank would be considerably less pleasant for everyone involved. Visible without a microscope, but just only, are the moina and the Daphnia, water fleas. They filter the water quite efficiently with their little hopping motion, a ballet to watch. And then there are the ostracods, a favorite crustacean of mine. They have survived many mass extinctions and have been swimming in places very much like this since before the dinosaurs. Now it's time to go deeper. Let's use our microscope and see what's in a single drop of water. Copepods, the most abundant multicellular animals on the planet. More copepods exist than any other animal, including every insect, every fish, and even us, several times over. Here we find rotifers, named for the Latin wheel, because of that spinning crown of cilia, which somewhat flows like a wheel, but it's not actually spinning. Ciliates, single-celled, but don't let that fool you. A paramucium performs behaviors we would, in a larger organism, call hunting. It senses, it pursues, it consumes. It does this without any sort of brain, nerves, or anything else we might recognize as intention. And our good friend, the algae. Much maligned by many hobbyists, fought, scraped, poisoned. But look at it this way. Without algae, there would be no oxygen. Without oxygen, there are no fish. The algae was here first, and arguably the fish are just the temporary arrangement that came after. Every aquarium is a nearly closed ecosystem. Energy enters as fish food and light. It moves up through trophic levels, from bacteria to protists to invertebrates to fish, exactly the way it does in a lake or a tide pool or even a rainforest. The fish eat the copepods. The copepods eat the rotifers. The rotifers eat the bacteria and the algae. The bacteria eat everything that dies. This is not a hobby. This is a food web. And at the base of it all, invisible to the naked eye, are the decomposers. Bacteria, fungi, protists, each so small that a single gram of substrate contains billions of them. They are the foundation. The fish are simply the decoration on top of the cake. The same tank you saw at the beginning of this video, it has not changed, but I hope now you are seeing it differently. Next week, I'm going outside. We're going to examine what we can find in a simple jar of water from an outside source. Something like this was in the last sample I created. I will let you guess what it is in the comments. The answer is next week. Welcome to Aquarium Ecology. There's a lot more going on in here than you think. And remember, nature has all the answers. Are you listening?